Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage I'm going to change the entire mirror cap and replace a missing indicator lens on my 2014 Fiat Ducato. Hello all. So, like so many people, I've managed to clobber the mirrors on my Ducato, Citroen Relay, Peugeot Boxer. They fold back, but the plastics really don't take a blow very well. Hence a whole aftermarket in protective mirror covers that you put over these things and give them resistance to impacts. Now, at this stage, because I've basically just lost the outer lens from my repeater or indicator, and I've got this crack, I have got a couple of options. One would have been to do a repair on this. I can easily plastic weld it back together and just buy a new lens for this, just to make it look like the other one, or repair the lens on this and then fit some of these mirror protecting caps, because that would not be seen. But I've got a bit of an issue with the protective caps in there, but they're really expensive. You easily pay £100 for a pair of good caps, and yet you can buy pattern parts to repair your mirrors much more cheaply. So I thought, why put something around the outside of a broken item or protect this item when you can fix it? It's not like I'm going to bump this every 5 minutes. This is only the second mirror I've ever touched anything with. So I've decided to replace the parts and see how I get on. Now I'm using pattern parts, so they won't be perfect or identical to original equipment, but I've paid £16 for a pair of mirror backs, and I've paid £6 for a new indicator lens. So at those sorts of prices, I think this is an experiment that's got to be done. Theoretically, this is an easy job to do, but I've never actually done it despite knowing how to do it. So we're going to learn together. Theoretically, this job is so easy, I only need two tools. One's going to be a Phillips or Posi drive screwdriver. I'm not quite sure which yet, but cross-headed if you like, and maybe a trim tool. We'll see. Mission one is to get these mirrors off. And if you push in at the top, you can get your fingers underneath the bottom edge. And if we pull out gently, you can feel it pop off. Now don't pull it straight away because they'll be wired. And there's just two wires here because we have heated mirror. There we go. Now, as it's just a heated mirror, it won't make any difference which wire goes back on which, but it's just really good practice to replace things in the same place each time. So, BR. For brown, if it was a motor, it would matter, so it's a good habit to get into. Always note where the wires come from. And we're off. The bottom element is the same. I'm going to push the bottom in, get to the top. So basically both of them, we're pulling from this area here. And we can manoeuvre it just to get our fingers behind a little better. But try and pull as close to the middle as you can. That puts the least strain possible on the glass. It's not really glass these days, it's usually plastic. But I'm going to use my trim tool because my fingers are a bit cold. This one's a little bit more tricky to pull off, in that I've detached the top, but it's quite short that way, and it clips itself back into place very easily. Right, I'll put the trim tool so that it can't go back into place. There we go. Now try and wriggle it out. Hey! And again, the bottom is heated. So I'll just get my pen. So with that off, next thing I'm going to do is remove the indicator. And just to give you an impression of what's going on here, because it probably looks fine, the other side looks like this. So it's just missing its clear lens. But I've bought a complete unit for £6. Again, patent part, not real. Not made by Fiat. And this is removed with two very small screws, here and here. So that's now loose. You can pull it out, and we've got a bulb connector here. So, oh, look at this where it's been pinched. Quarter turn, pull out, and I'll check in a moment, but I believe I need to salvage that orange lens as well. But we'll come back to that in a bit. For now, I'll just tuck that inside, out of the way. At this stage, I realised I was a little bit wrong with the tools. Earlier vans had Phillips screws in here, but mine's to 2014, and well, it's a sort of early 2015 model year vehicle, so it might be different year to year. This has got T20 Torx bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is all I can see. So I'm going to whip them out and see what happens. And with those 5 removed, the shell appears to be loose. Great. Well, now what we're going to need to do at this stage, because of the shape of the moulding, is to swing our mirror back this way. In order to get it off the arms. So I'm just teasing it, because again, I don't know if there's another screw yet or some clips. It's definitely loose. Yeah, appears to have come off everywhere except here at the end of the arms. So I'm just going to get my plastic trim tool. There's a bit of a join here. And just give it a tug in this area. Ooh, it's holding on well. Ah, there we go. Obviously some sort of clip back there. Got to give it quite a good firm pull. There we go. To get it to come off. There we are. There's some barbs here where it was hanging on to. All the dust and rubbish inside this. So the motors could certainly be detached if you really wanted to from the frame, and you could swap them out. And you'd only really need to change the mirror, the whole thing, if this plastic moulding was destroyed, which is a rare occurrence, I would say, but possible. There's a really hefty mount, a pivot point down here. There's a really hefty pivot point here, but this rises and falls over to give you the detent that locks the mirror into positions. And the top is just a screw that is used to tighten the tension on the pivot point. So as long as this is intact and this is intact, all the parts can be bought to fix your mirrors. This is where my conundrum comes with these mirror covers. Well, so I appreciate what they're for. Unless you drive your vehicle like it's a Dodgem and you're going to clang the mirrors 2 or 3 times a year, why would you put a big, clumsy, expensive mirror cover on top of your mirror cover when you can buy them? Now, this is a pattern part. It is not original. And the clearest indication of that, excuse the rain, is the back of that is smooth. The back of that has a serial number on it. But, you know, there's the serial numbers on that one. No serial numbers down there on that one. The material's the same. The mouldings are different. I can see there's a different interior to this. There's a couple of lumps in the other one which aren't there on this one. Just share with you. There you go. See those cups sticking out, wherever you want to call them. I'll have a look at what they're for, if anything. And we're missing that little groove up there. It's a different shape. But if these go on, I mean, it's got all the screw fixings. This is a cheap replacement. And mirrors fade. This one's nice and black compared to that one. Okay, here's the original. You see it's got this hook or cup here, which isn't on the aftermarket example, but it's evenly spaced around this. That is the pin, so those cups would sort of fall there. There is nothing for them to attach to, clip to. They're not doing anything on there, so maybe it's for an accessory I don't have. It's my replacement lens. I've had a look. Externally, there is no difference to the standard Fiat. I can't tell on the rear because I'm not taking the other one off yet, but this does not incorporate the orange lens cover, and as this is heat staked on, I can't fit the orange lens cover that's on the original. So I will need to buy 2 orange lamps to replace those lamps. I may even have those in my shed. I'll go and have a quick look now. Yep, managed to find a orange lamp. So you just pull these out and push in a new one. Any car parts spare shop, if you take in an old white or clear lensed lamp, they should easily be able to supply you with an orange lensed alternate. Now I can just refit this lens straight in and put the new not really sure which order is best, but I think I'll loose fit it and we'll see how we get on. So I'm having trouble getting my screwdriver into the head of this. I knew it worked because that's what I used to take it off with. It's just so fine. Ah, we're in. So just offer this up, find a little hole, there we go, just got it nipped. A little bit of foam is obviously to stop the wires from rattling around. Here's our new mirror shell. So I'm going to try and hook it over here first, because I say I'm not sure. So the assembly sequence. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to take that back off. Say, learning as we go. Get this back. It was hard to see from the design of the clips where it's supposed to go on before or after. And because my original was broken, in the area around that, you couldn't really tell from that either. Okay, so that's good. In many ways that makes it a lot easier. Just going to make sure that that comes through there. And we can offer this up. There we go. So it's roughly in place. Just going to give it a squeeze. Well, all the gaps join up okay on this side. Yeah, you've got to hook it over the clips on the van side, the arm side. So I'd get them on first. Once they're in place, everything else looks like it's really quite manoeuvrable. So I think if I can get one of the screws in, again, just stop me having to hold everything at the same time, then we're almost there. Torx driver out my pocket. Of course, it's always the other pocket. So far, so excellent. Yeah, all seems to be lining up nicely. Obviously these are essentially self-tappers into plastic, so don't over tighten them. They weren't overly tight when I removed them. As soon as the heads are touching down, they're doing their job. Now the two holes here, line it with these two, and these just hook under the outer cap, like so. And again, it's a great fit for an aftermarket part. Okay, so it's all back together, looking good, feeling good. Next, reinstall the mirrors, put the wires back on. Easy to forget to do in your excitement to snap things back into place. And all you need to do is level it up in the middle, and give it a little push, and it will jump back into position. That's great. And the same with the top mirror. Find your wires, connect them up. Position it somewhat centrally. Give it a wiggle and a push back, and it snap into place. There we are. Back in. This is the driver's side. I'm changing the shell just so it matches, and I'm doing this one against the clock, so I wasn't filming it. But there is a difference in that in the bottom of the mirror we have this little thing which you rotate and then pop through. That is your exterior temperature sensor. Other than that, this side's exactly the same. Well, there we are, boys and girls. Repaired mirrors using aftermarket parts. The only giveaway is this code here rather than on the underside. No, they're not the same mouldings. Yes, you do need to flex them a little bit and jiggle with them to get them to clip on, but not a great deal of trouble, if I'm honest. I changed the other side just to match. And this one, because I wasn't filming it, took me 20 minutes. You'll note this one's still got the original indicator in, so it's got the orange dome inside, so it just looks more orange when it's turned off than this one does. So I'll get another one of these to match, but they flash exactly the same. So this brings for me the whole point of those big mirror bumpers into question. They're quite expensive. They are, I think, a little bulky and ugly. And yes, they are going to protect the casings and the lenses from small impacts that mine took, which was a bit of foliage, by the way, by the side of the road down a narrow lane. But unless you're going to treat your vehicle like a bumper car and you're having 2 or 3 incidents a year, surely you just buy the parts and repair them. Because 2 mirror shells, 1 indicator came to £22. And if I was doing it without filming it, I think the whole thing would have been done inside an hour. And it's back to how it should be. But now those big mirror buffers or bumpers do provide some extra protection to the front moulding, or the chassis if you like, and maybe will stop you losing your lenses now and again. But you're talking about big impacts that are probably going to damage this stuff anyway. So don't let me tell you what to do, you do what you want to do. But I think this is a very good alternative. Save your money and fix it when they're broke, rather than the protection stuff. Anyway, if you like videos like this, consider subscribing, because it costs you nothing and just adds the channel to your favourites effectively, and it helps me out no end. And I'll see you again real soon on To The Garage. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.